Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and confront a reality that, honestly, a lot of folks in the financial independence community just kind of tiptoe around. We spend decades, literally decades, agonizing over our spreadsheets, right? We track our savings rates down to the penny, we obsess over safe withdrawal rules, and we pinpoint the exact mathematical day we can finally walk away from our cubicles. But here's the thing nobody warns you about: the extremely underwhelming reality of what actually happens the morning after you hit that magic number. Because if you've achieved your financial independence, but you don't have a plan for what comes next, you are just stepping into a void.
Think about it like this. When we look at the top regret of the dying, it's not, "Oh man, I wish I had saved more money in my 401k. Not at all. It's this jarring realization right here. Wishing for the courage to live a life true to yourself. The ultimate failure isn't running out of money. It's running away from a job you hate without knowing what you're actually running towards. You simply cannot buy that time back, no matter how big your portfolio is."
And this really gets right to the heart of the FIRE myth: financial independence, retire early. The myth teaches us exactly how to escape, but it completely drops the ball on teaching us what we should be aiming for. Take Jason from the channel Two Sides of FI. When he finally hit his financial goal, he actually admitted the experience was incredibly underwhelming. It didn't feel like some victorious confetti-dropping laser light show. He said it felt way more like closing on a house, just a paperwork-heavy realization of all the hard work that still lies ahead to actually build a life. If your entire life's mission is just to hoard a giant pile of index funds so you can sit on a couch, you're going to be miserable.
Which leads us directly into what we call the cocktail party trap. Society basically trains us from childhood to tie our entire self-worth to our job titles. So when you step away from the 9 to 5, you lose that built-in societal validation. Imagine you're at a party, right? And someone comes up and asks that classic question. "So, what do you do?" If you can't confidently lean on that super comfortable VP of marketing or senior engineer identity, things get awkward fast. You suddenly find yourself getting defensive, having to justify your life choices to people who sarcastically say, "Well, it must be nice to not work," just because they haven't planned for their own futures.
So I want you to honestly ask yourself, if your job title disappeared tomorrow, would you even know who you are? It's a massive identity crisis. And agitating this fear of the identity void is exactly what traps people in one more year syndrome. They hit their financial goals, absolutely, but they're so terrified of the emptiness waiting for them outside the office that they just keep inventing excuses to stay at their desks, year after year.
To survive this psychological trap, you have to completely throw away your net worth as a measure of success. I know, easier said than done, right? But Eric, also from Two Sides of FI, developed a brilliant 3-part framework to solve this exact problem. He realized that true success really shouldn't be defined by your bank account, but by exactly 3 metrics: freedom, purpose, and relationships. And without these 3 things locked in, honestly, none of the money even matters.
Starting with the first metric: freedom. Now, the crucial point here is that freedom isn't about sitting on a beach sipping margaritas for 40 years. That gets boring incredibly fast. It simply means autonomy. It is the profound ability to wake up on a random Tuesday and have absolutely total control over your calendar and your energy. It means you can self-direct your focus into projects you actually care about entirely without having to ask a boss for permission.
Next up is purpose. See, when you leave a traditional career, you're leaving behind that feeling of achievement, the validation of a job well done, the satisfaction of mentoring others. You have to replace those things. But purpose doesn't have to mean, solving world hunger. It could be like Chris from the TikTok Life blog, who learned how to repair old electronics just to keep them out of landfills. Or it could literally just be the simple act of leaving your phone at home and taking a 3-hour walk to clear the noise and let your brain generate new ideas. Purpose is just having a reason to get out of bed that excites you.
The final, and arguably most critical metric, is relationships. Think about it. The workplace provides forced socialization. Whether you like it or not, you're around people. When you leave, you lose the people you used to vent with in the break room. You absolutely must actively engineer a new community to avoid isolation. Just like Jason and his wife did when they retired, they started a local homebrewing club specifically to meet like-minded people with shared interests. Because once you leave the office, you can't exactly rely on the guy standing next to the microwave for your daily social interaction anymore. You have to build it yourself. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. Reclaiming your purpose and building these relationships often means you have to completely drop your ego. Consider this challenge for a second. Would you rather work 60 highly stressed hours a week as a VP holding on to some fancy title, or step away and take a fun job pouring wine at a local tasting room one day a week strictly for the social connection?
It's all about trading prestige for actual tangible joy and community.
Now, as you build this new life, you will inevitably look around at what others are doing. It's human nature. But the golden rule of the financial independence community is this: you must run your own race. Never, ever compare your unique journey to someone else's. If your purpose is slow travel in a camper van, which might be your chapter 1, do not compare yourself to a tech entrepreneur flying first class to Dubai, which is their chapter 20. It's totally apples and oranges.
In fact, there's this hilarious, highly visual metaphor for this exact rule. Don't compare your pineapples. Seriously, back in the 1800s, pineapples were a sign of extreme wealth. People would literally rent them to carry around at parties just to look rich to their friends. It sounds insane to us now, but today, comparing your pineapples just means looking at someone else's status symbols. If you start chasing someone else's pineapples, you're only going to ruin the beautiful life of freedom you just worked so hard to build.
All of this brings us to a really crucial equation. True wealth simply equals stored energy. A massive investment portfolio is nothing more than stored energy. Dying with $40 million in the bank is actually kind of a major failure because it means you just hoarded your energy out of fear rather than using it to actually live your life. If you never use that stored energy to buy back your freedom, chase your purpose, or deepen your relationships, it is completely useless.
And that brings us to this beautiful realization. Financial independence is not a destination. It is simply a waypoint that gives you the permission slip to finally explore who you really are. So if you're out there feeling burned out, stuck in that one more year trap, or you're terrified of losing your corporate identity, take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. Start defining your success by daily joy, rather than the commas in a bank account. Start investing in your hobbies, in your communities today, right now, while you are still on the journey.
So, I want to leave you with a provocative question to really chew on. If money was completely removed from the equation tomorrow, what is the very first passion project you would dedicate your time to? Force yourself into that introspection. Really sit with it. Let it motivate you to start planning your actual life, not just your escape from the cubicle. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep building that foundation, and I'll catch you on the next one.